Hello everybody, it's spring on this side of the earth, and how can you resist this little egg cosy? Right, so let's get started making our little bunny egg cosy. So the first thing we're going to do is to cast on and knit, then we're going to shape the top of the egg cosy and then make ears and stitch them on. So I've cast on 26 stitches. You can use any Aran weight yarn that you like, and actually if you use a bigger yarn and bigger needles you'll make a bigger egg cosy which would fit a bigger egg. So I'm going to start off with just a row of knit away across our 26 stitches. So we turn, and then I'm going to purl on the way back. Now I'm using a circular needle just because I happen to have one in the right size. You can use flat needles, you can use whatever you like. So I'm just going to purl across the row, and so you need to repeat these rows 6 times till you end up with 12 rows of stockinette. So I shall meet you back here. Right, so I've knitted the body of my egg cosy. So now I'm going to start decreasing at the top. So this is how we're going to do it. There's only 3 rows. So we start off knit 2 together, and then knit 2, knit 2 together, knit 2, and we carry on across the row like this, knit 2 together, knit 2, and then when you get to the end there's just 2 left, so knit 2 together at the end. So that's cinched us in a little bit, so we're going to turn and just purl across this row. Right, so here we go, back to the right side again, and we've got another decrease row, and it's going to be the same. So knit 2 together, knit 2, and then just at the end we've got 3 stitches left, so I'm going to knit 2 together, knit 1 just at the end there. Now once we get to this point I'm going to leave a nice long tail for sewing up, and then take a needle with the stitches still on the needle here, take a sewing needle, a tapestry needle, and I'm going to thread the yarn onto the tapestry needle like that, and then we're just going to transfer the stitches onto this yarn. So I'm just going to really slip them onto this needle and pull the yarn through. So pull that up tight, and that cinches the top together. Now I'm going to turn it inside out to sew it. So using your nice piece of long yarn, just push the edges together, just tighten up the top part there, and then we're going to use a little bit of mattress stitch, one of my favourite things, to sew this up. Now to do mattress stitch you just use your needle to slide under 2 stitches on both sides. Well, it's not 2 stitches, it's actually the 2 legs of a stitch. So if I show you here, we're going under there and under there. So we're just matching the stitches together, and this gives us a nice flat seam on the other side. This is very good practice if you're making garments, because the better your mattress stitch is, the neater your seaming. So once we get to the bottom here, just stitch those ends together, and oh, little friend popped in there. And then all we need to do is just to sew the end in. So I'm just going to come back up a little bit to secure the end, to make sure it doesn't come out. Snip. And then we're going to do the same thing, just to sew in this little end down here. So if I turn it back outside to the right side, there's our little egg cosy. And the next thing we need to do is to make our bunny's ears. Now this is just a very simple little ear here, which we're going to fold in half, which is going to become a little bunny ear. So we start off, cast on 6 stitches and then work 6 rows of garter stitch, just plain knitting. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, so now we're going to shape the top of the ear. So I'm going to knit 2 together, then knit 2 stitches, and then to create a right hand leaning decrease, I'm going to do a slip slip knit with these 2 stitches. So you slip, slip, pop your needle underneath and knit. So we're starting to come in from both sides. Then we're going to just knit these 4 stitches. So we knit this row, turn, and this time we've got 4 stitches left. Whoops, that's my cable. So I'm going to knit these 2 together and do a slip slip knit over here for the shaping. So I'm going to knit 2 together there, and then slip, slip, needle underneath, knit, which brings you in from both sides. So you can see that the decrease is coming from both sides into a point. Then we just turn the work and knit these 2 stitches together to make the point of the ear. So when you're left with 1 stitch, pull that loop out to get rid of those, snip your yarn, and then just finish off, bring the yarn through that loop to tighten up. So I'm going to just stitch down the side there to bury this end, just sort of in and out, weave in and out down the side of the ear like that. Doesn't have to be very pretty because no one's going to see it. Pull that through. Now if I pull it back up like that, then it's nice and pointy. If I pull that down, it'll come into a little roundy ear. So it could be a mouse or a puppy or a bear. So that little bit of sewing in the edges, you can change the shape of the ear just by using that little method there. So I'm just going to then sew that little end in so it can't come out. Now what we're going to do is to stitch these ears using the tails on them onto the egg cosy. So I'm going to fold the bottom of the ear in half to make it a little rabbity shape. Thread your yarn. It's probably best idea to do that first actually. Fold the bottom of the ear together and then just sew it just with a little stitch to catch it so that your little rabbity ear is the right shape with a little stitch there. So that's very nice. Then hold it onto the top of your egg cosy and just stitch it onto. Again, you don't have to be hugely neat about this. We're just going to stitch through the ear and through the top of the egg cosy to secure it in place. And I'm just sort of going around the back of it now just to sew it in. Okay. And really, this is a sort of feel it as you go thing. Just stitch in with the end until it's as secure as you want it to be. So that's our first one. And then I'm going to do the same with the second one. The one thing we've got left to do is the face. So there we are. Right, so we've got to the stage where you've knitted your egg cosy with the lovely bunny ears, but it's going to need a face. And to do that, I've asked Super Ella, who is one of our paint box designers, to come and show you how to do the face. Now, how hard is it?
Really not very hard at all.
It's not fun. Okay, let's do it.
So just use any scrap yarn that you've got around. I've got a pink for the nose and a black for like the rest of it, but you just take a section as long as you want into the needle, and then I like to start with the nose because it kind of centralises the face and you can find everything else around that. If you come up in the middle, and so I try to tend to go like slap bang in the middle of the thing and then just leave a little bit of a tail at the end, and then come in up here, so about a couple of stitches up, and then go across 2 stitches width there as well, and pull through. and go back into that hole and then come back out the top here. So now when you go back into this hole, you've got your first triangle there, and then it's just a case of filling in the little nose with some more stitches. And then just pulling on like that end a little bit just to tighten up all these stitches. So you kind of got a little triangle there. Now then tend to cut. You just turn it inside out and tie those ends together, which stops you getting like loads of knots in the surface of your knitting. And then going in with the eyes, so like we've done here, it's just like half a stitch away from the nose on either side. Just gives it a nice balanced face. So you come up. And with this again, I'm just leaving a bit of a tail so you can just knot that afterwards. And then you go back in on the other side of the stitch. And so for the other one, I've done 3 stitches for the eye. And that just gives it a nice shape.
Here we are, you've knitted your lovely egg cosy and it's got a face. So Ella and I would love to know, what are you going to make, which animals you're going to make and how you're going to use them. Tell us everything in the comments. Thank you for watching. Come and join us again soon.